Hey guys, welcome to Your Best Interviews. This is Eric Smith. Thank you so much for spending the time with me. I know that there's a lot of places you could go for information, and this is a stressful time. So thank you so much for spending your time with me. My goal is to help you in every aspect of the interview process and coach you along the way. And so today, what I want to talk about is as you're starting your job search process, where do you start? I think a common mistake or a common trap that people fall into as they start to apply is they blanket apply to everything without kind of a lens or a focus on what you're really looking for and what you really want to get out of your first job or maybe your next job. So what I want to talk about is looking at big companies versus startup companies. Two different strategies, very different worlds, especially as you're stepping into these environments. And there's a couple things that unless you've kind of been on both sides of it, that you should know. And so I would say if you're evaluating what your next move is, or maybe it's your first move, think about the resources that you want. Think about the things that are going to help you feel supported so that it's a good first step and not you're stepping into a role that is just not a fit and you're going to leave in 3 to 6 months. You want to make sure that you're stepping in with the right expectations and that it's actually going to help you accomplish what you want to do. Right? So just as much as that company needs you for whatever skill set or whatever job that you're applying for, this is your chance to grow individually, right? Professionally. And so you really want to be thinking about what you want to get out of this. And so as you're looking at the two different options, what you want to evaluate is, so a big company, the benefits of a really big company. And as you're starting this process, start to think about, what are the key companies in your area? Or maybe it's remote. With the remote environment today, you could apply to a lot of different things. And so think about, if you want to go to a big company, put a list together. Kind of have your stretch goals of these are the biggest companies that I really want to go for and the roles I think I can get, and start applying to those. But also find other very large companies. The benefits there are you're going to have a lot of resources that you wouldn't have at a smaller startup type environment. So you're going to have a formal training program. You're going to have resources around you. So maybe that's legal, maybe that's human resources that can help answer questions for you. Maybe that's a marketing department or a customer service department. All these different things that are already in place at a big company that help you kind of just focus on your individual role and support you within that individual role. So large companies have a lot of benefit that can help you quickly get off the ground or really just drill in and focus on what your task is to be the best at just that one task. On the flip side, smaller companies, startup companies, you tend to wear a lot of hats. Full transparency, there's a lot less resources though. So when you need, a customer service element or you need a marketing element, you might be that element, right? So when you step into a smaller company, they typically don't have a lot of headcount, or they typically don't have a full structure around the support elements that you would need. And so you tend to wear a lot of different hats. That can be really, really frustrating for someone starting out because you're stepping into a lot of positions that you've never held before, or asked to do a lot of things that you've never done before. You have no experience on, right? So you're cutting your teeth really quickly in a lot of different areas. The benefits here are you grow your skill set in a lot of areas really quickly. And I always say, you're acquiring skills to figure out what you're good at and what you care about. With a startup, you wear a lot of hats and you do a lot of different things. So it helps you kind of identify, hey, I really like this marketing element, or I'm really good at customer success, or I'm really good at sales, or I'm really good at finance, whatever that is, data analytics. You're going to identify that. And with a smaller company, you have the opportunity to kind of make that niche your own track within that company, and you can grow quicker in an area that maybe wouldn't be a focus in a bigger company. And so there's benefits to both sides, but I challenge people, or I really, as people are applying, I really want people to think about what's going to be best for you, the best environment walking in. If you're not somebody who does well with chaos or not being organized, a startup environment might be really, really overwhelming and could easily be the wrong fit that causes you to go through this process again in 6 months. On the flip side, if you're in a corporate environment and you're somebody who wants to try a lot of things and wants to do a lot of things, or gets bored easily doing the same thing day after day, that might not be the best environment for you as well. So think about all these things. Think about how you want to be supported. Think about the skills that you want to learn, and And think about also the long-term track, right? If your goal is to get to a high level, a big corporation is one of those roles that can help you from a track standpoint to get there. On the flip side, startups are the same way. You could spend half the time to get to a high level within a startup because there's less employees, so you can move up quicker. So you want to think about all these things, but I always look at it from a resource standpoint and from an expectation standpoint. Think about what you're applying to as you're starting that process and as you're putting a list together of which jobs you want to apply for.